Alright, we're gonna learn how to deal with mech, or play against mech, basically. So this is Hydra versus Zelos on Ravaged, and basically I'm just gonna talk about what your game plan should be against mech, and how you should be looking to play. First things first, I think it's better to put your barracks on over here, but anyways, I do like the scout, we're playing against mech. So, first things first, mech is it's absolutely crucial that mech has a wall, and this person Zelos does not have a wall, so that is actually a big opportunity for us. We can this Gatling gun is really exposed, and so you might be able to pick it off later on if it's not in the wall. It's not if it's not part of the wall. If you're beast, you might be able to get us around with it against using wolves. If you're playing racks with so it takes 4 raider shots to one shot a Gatling gun, so you might be able to do it, just kill it with 2 raiders. So I would recommend if you are playing against mech, just continue building the raiders up to 4, just because 4 is the magic number to one shot a Gatling gun. So I would not go for this archer. I would go for just up to 4 raiders. Maybe up to 5 if you lose one, that sort of thing. If you're beast, just building wolves is fine. You can take a quick third as well. You can just play standard and it'll be fine. Okay, so I like that you're just poking in with the raider, just trying to find some damage. But you do want to ideally save your flashes for when they matter. So right now, this is totally fine. Okay, also, so this tech building usually comes at around 18 supply. So it basically starts approximately when this castle is maybe halfway done. No, a little bit more than halfway done. I don't know the exact timing, but if you do have raiders, you should be able to just flash over the wall if they have a wall, or in this case, you can just literally walk in, and it's very, very important information to see what this tech building is. 90% of the time, it's going to be either a workshop or a mill, and even like getting the confirmation that it is one or the other is very important. If it is 2 workshops, then you gotta prepare for a 2 base push. So this is a very important information to have. Obviously, don't sacrifice your unit if it's possible, but so if there was a wall, what I would do is send in a raider that has full mana, so you should be able to teleport in, get the scout, and then hopefully you should be able to teleport out as well. So that is important information, and what you should do is while you're continue building workers, continue building raiders, go for a advanced workshop. Pretty much as soon as you confirm that it is either a workshop or a mill. If you can't confirm it, honestly, go for it either way. It's 90% of the time it's going to be a advanced workshop or a mill, so cata drops or gyros. There is if you do scout and see that it is a second workshop, then don't go for it. Just go for more racks or something like that. But yeah, so now you have 2, which means once you have 2 raiders, you can start to try to 2-shot the Gatling guns. Going for the workers is pretty cool. Definitely do that when you have 1 raider. But when you have 2 raiders and they're relatively healthy, what you can do is try to target down the Gatling gun, especially if the Gatling guns aren't with the workers. They are in this case, so your opponent might be able to repair quickly in time, which is why I don't hate going for this worker, but otherwise it's fine. Otherwise, I would just go for the Gatling gun, try to 2-shot it. We'll talk about more about Beast right now as well, what Beast should be doing. Generally, you want to be as annoying as possible. You want to, if you can, sneak in with the wolf to try to see if it's a advanced workshop or a mill. You're probably not going to be able to see it, honestly. And then against mech, you should be fine taking your third base at the standard timing. I would cut wolves at about 7 wolves because you don't need too much more than that, and then go for an advanced workshop as soon as you start, as soon as you have the money after your third base. So advanced workshop is absolutely the most important building to get against mech. It's going to shut down the gyros, it's going to shut down any drop play if you get ballistas, and later on, it's going to be really useful to get an airship and just drop on top of their army, drop into their main base. everything like that. So Advanced Workshop is a must against mech, unless you see it's a two double workshop and some sort of two base push, that sort of thing. So yeah, we'll continue on. So right now you decided to just go for archers, and I think what you're gonna do is probably use the archers to defend against the suspected cata drop. Like I said, you should ideally have the clear indication that this is a cata drop. Um, but yeah, that's okay, no biggie. And then at this point, oh, one thing is you can see if they went for advanced workshop or not if they use the caltrop. So if they place down a the ability to put down caltrops is only unlocked once you have an advanced workshop. So if you do see that the mana of these Gatling guns go down, like in this case, you know that they have an advanced workshop. You know that you should be afraid of cata drops. So yeah, in this case, his build isn't quite very crisp. So he did go for 3 Gatling guns. The fastest cata drop build, or the one that most people go for, you only get 2 Gatling guns. So you go 2 Gatling guns, you go into a cata drop after. So this is actually pretty late, especially because he's supply blocked. But yeah, that's just something to note. So if you do see the mana going down, you know that there is an advanced workshop. So at this point, I would be getting Advanced Workshop. I would have gotten it a long time ago, actually. But instead, we do go for a castle, and it looks like we're going to count on using these archers for the anti-air to deal with the cata drops. It's a viable option, but I think just the ballista airship going for an Advanced Workshop of yourself is the far superior option. And then, one thing that is important, in this case over here, your 2 raiders aren't going to do too much. You want to basically keep tabs on what time is the third going to come up, and also when does this cata drop come out. So I would maybe put one raider here. Generally, the cata drop, they'll get like loaded up around here and go across the map in this general vicinity. So if you have more units, you can kind of spread them out to see where they're coming from, but that's okay. He supply blocks. He also went for 3 Gatling guns, so this cata drop is really delayed. Generally, a properly timed cata drop would be hitting right now, but it's okay. And, okay, another thing, against mech, you do not want to be walling off. You want to be as open as possible. You want to have big open spaces so that there are no choke points. Choke points are really bad when you're playing against mech, so these 2 racks, I would put them elsewhere. You know, even just putting one here, just to get the vision of any sort of cata drops. Maybe even here. I like putting a building here just so that your main ramp doesn't get walled. Otherwise, honestly, putting them like here to see any cata drops coming this way would be way better placements for these barracks. This is just creating a choke point for yourself. If he does go for later some sort of push, this can be very abusable. So you want to be very, very open against mech. So building placement would prefer to have it at like the edges, or maybe even like places like here, here, here to be a bit more, I guess, maybe not here, but a bit more vision, a bit more open. That's what I would do. I don't hate the decision to go for these additional racks, but I would much prefer having gone for the advanced workshop for sure. I guess I'll be more focusing on playing racks versus this instead of going beast. So we're forced to build archers just because we are trying to play against, or try to shut down this. I believe you did see that on the mini-map. I'm not sure if you were quite looking. And yes, this is exactly what you want to be doing. Just try to delay this third base as much as possible. Once they're low, you can bring them home or bring them one here, that sort of thing. The cata drop comes in and we're able to ward it off with the archers, which is great. As soon as this happens, I think we're feeling pretty good. This is probably not going to come in with this little low health. I would take this opportunity to not even build any more units and just go expand again. Continue building workers. Oh, also worker transfer is you definitely want to transfer these workers over to the third. You want to spread your workers as much as possible. So, but yeah, as soon as you quell this attack, I feel like you have an opportunity to get more greedy in some way, shape, or form. So I don't think we need these archers at the moment. We're also supply blocked, which is unfortunate, but that sort of thing happens. But yeah, I would take this opportunity to either tech up, get more workers, get another base maybe even. Right now, there's no pressure on us. And then with the raiders, don't lose them, but I do want to see a raider come over here. Where's our other raider? Did we lose the other raider? No, we didn't. Where is the other raider? Am I blind? It's all the way back here. Okay. But yeah, with the raider, you want to double check, confirm that this third base is going up, because right now I think you don't have that confirmation. Yep, you don't. So you want to check that, and then once you do check that, you're free to take a fourth, honestly. It's very unlikely that they will do some sort of push. And then with your other raider, honestly, I just put it over here just to check a fourth base timing. And then, yeah, that's pretty much what I would do. So, delay the third as much as possible. In this case, the units are low, so that's okay. Don't expect you to be losing your workers. You decide to go for a fortress, which is not a bad idea against mech, honestly. A lot of the times they kind of forget about the advanced workshop, and like they're kind of skimp on anti-air. So I don't mind this. I don't hate it. This is, I guess, a bit of a gamble, but yeah, you're free to just build as many workers as possible here. Additionally, a word about the composition. After this initial amount of archers that you have, it's much more comfortable to, instead of going for archers, go for soldiers. Soldiers are much better against mech in general, just because they are able to close the distance. And they're less fragile. So archers, they don't have a lot of health. They're going to die instantly pretty much. They're 160 health, which is not a lot, especially when you consider that a catapult does approximately 60 damage, 58 damage if I'm not mistaken. So it takes 3 shots to kill an archer, whereas a soldier has like 250, 225, something like that HP. They're going to also mess with the AI when the catapults shoot. So this is kind of like playing Marines into tanks, so not a good idea. You want to be, after the initial archers that you need for the anti-air in this case, you want to be going like, I'd say 70%, maybe 70, even 80% soldiers, and 20 to 30% archers. And also, you know what? What's not bad is raiders. Raiders are also pretty good if you're able to just dodge those catapult shots. If they get trapped in a caltrop, you can flash them away. So raiders are also pretty good. I would recommend raiders and soldiers over the archers, just because archers are extremely fragile. Yes, you're going to have good micro, but even with good micro, you're still going to eat some catapult shots, and they're extremely fragile. So yeah, and then also, like I said, keep an eye on the fourth with the raiders, I think, the initial raiders. We are going to try to go for an attack, it seems like, with these archers, and obviously not usually a good idea. Mech is a very defensive kind of faction, so it lends itself really well to playing defensively. Attacking, especially because of the range with the catapult and also the caltrops that can trap your units. So you gotta be really mindful of how you attack and when you attack. So this is definitely risky. It could work, but you just gotta be extremely careful. And we'll see how that goes. And always, just be careful for sure. With these archers, you want to spread them out into one line before you go in. Once I see these catapults, I would honestly just go back. Yeah. Here, just leave these two and just run back. Yeah. Okay. He has enough to defend. What do we do here? We just expand. We just continue building workers. And I guess in this case, we just have the Dragon's Lair, so that's fine. We're just going to play for the Dragon's Lair. So we're just going to play defensive in this case, I think. So just defend any catadrops. And yeah, so like this house sort of thing, it's not good against mech. I would not put it here. I would prefer to have it in more open spaces. So also, one general tip is that if at all possible, maybe put these work. It doesn't really matter against mech in this case because they're not going to have really good scouting, but better to place them in your main so that they're a little bit more useful or something like that. Or not useful, sorry, a little bit less likely to be scouted, but no biggie there. He's going to go for a catadrop. I would love to see a unit once again at the the other potential bases. We're going to try to go in. I like that you have that one archer there trying to bait some catapult shots, but in this case over here, we're not going to get anything done. So you want to go back or you want to rotate, try to find a different angle. You know, if you have an advanced workshop, you can also go into here. Good reaction time against that cata drop. We do lose, looks like one worker, but that's okay. That sort of thing happens. And then we're able to take down the airship, I think. Excellent. We shut it down. Great. Now we have the dragons. He saw it, so he's going to put down the watchtowers and a second advanced workshop. That looks like a bit of a stake. If he puts, if he rallies some ballistas over here, it's going to be stuck. But anyways, we're going to try to do as much damage as possible with our dragons. Okay, so if we do go for something like dragons, they're most likely going to be forced to, you know, defend. That is a perfect time to expand. I like that you did expand here. I would say there's no point in making more units at the moment because this attack, we already tried it before, it didn't do much. And I love this expansion. I would go for some sort of tech as well, maybe even. I guess maybe not because we have triple Dragon Slayer, so that's pretty expensive. That's a lot of money that we have to invest. But anything, Advanced Workshop, like I said before, excellent against mech in general, just because you can abuse the immobility of it. You know, drop into the main. You can drop on top of their army. You can get the ballista for cata drops. But also a really good tech if you're playing Rax is going into mages. Mages, they deal with this sort of army really well. You can just fireball and run away. Additionally, if they do go for some push with workers, you can just fireball down the workers so they die and they don't have to repair. So yeah, that's how I would play. With this army though, this army that we have, I would generally posture it so that they're not unable to take the fourth. So one more unit here, one unit here, and as soon as you see something coming over here, you would try to delay the fourth. But also another option is, you know, once you see, we'll get to that when that happens actually. So I do like that you're trying to do some damage with these dragons. I would have preferred to see a bit more damage on the workers, but that's okay. Maybe you already knew that there were towers there, so that makes sense. And then this attack over here is not going to do too well with all these units here, so just bring them all the way back. I like that this fourth is up. I would like to see continual worker production here. But these dragons are doing a lot of damage. But these archers, they're just kind of dying for free. But anyways, good target fire on that airship. You want to be targeting down workers. Excellent. Maybe not the tower. Sure, go for this. I think we kind of gave up here in the sense that we're transitioning out of dragons. We saw that they had tons of watchtowers. We saw that they had double advanced workshop. So transitioning out of it, I'm fine with that. Actually, we're supply blocked. I lied. But I would be okay with transitioning out of this. That's a ton of resources that are that have gone into being very defensive, going into anti-air. I would be okay with just stopping that and just continuing to just play on from there. One other note, when you're playing against mech, you basically don't want to get defense armor upgrades. You like, what are you gonna do when you block 1 damage out of 60, really, right? It's always better to get attack upgrades. We didn't go for upgrades this game, but that's just something to keep in mind. Let's continue on. Repair is really good, so even though we have like 5-6 dragons, that's not going to do much if repair is happening. So just get whatever we can, and forcing them to stay on 3 bases, always a good thing. I try not to lose the dragons, but it's going to happen, and that's okay. Alright. We are kind of low on workers, I feel like, but that's okay. And of course, like I said before, we want to be speeding soldiers rather than archers. I'd say 70 to 80% soldiers. Soldiers or raiders. Okay, so now that we've done some damage, what do we want to do? We want to prevent him from taking a 4th base. And also we want to see if any sort of big push comes out. So We just want to be aware of that. So I like that you have these units over here, just trying to monitoring to see if there is any push that's coming, and I also like that you were denying the fourth base with these dragons. I would rotate from here and here, it's trying to catch anything. Yeah, we're just chilling. He's trying to take a fourth base. If you had exactly one unit here, you'd be able to see this. So the benefits of having like a unit here, you'd be able to see this fourth base coming up. You'd be able to see, try to delay it a little bit if he didn't bring his units. If he did bring his units, you would see them, and that means, hey, you know what else isn't, because these units are here, you know what else isn't, or where these units aren't, they aren't elsewhere. So like, you can come in with your army. Sure, it's not exactly sizable, but it should be able to take down 2 towers, do a little bit of damage, force your opponent to come back, that sort of thing. So you want to be, I guess, multi-pronging, you want to be aggressing. So vision is really important, and as soon as your opponent goes up to like 4-ish bases, they're going to have a hard time defending everywhere at once, especially with mech, because mech is very slow comparatively to Rax and Beast, so especially Beast. But yeah, I would prefer that for sure. And when you are playing against mech, you always want to have your army on their side of the map if possible. So obviously you don't want to be like bleeding units and fighting into it, but you want to be like available. So I like over here or something like that, available to react to their army movement and try to attack their places where they're not at, right? You want to be able to, so the idea is if you have like airships, you want to, drop into their main. Oh, that's going to force like a handful of units back here. You're going to poke over here, and then that's going to force a handful of units to stay here. And then you're going to attack, find an opening on this side. So it's basically going to be, if you're familiar with StarCraft, you're going to be the Terran playing against Protoss, essentially. You're going to try to find some sort of opening. Terran playing against Zerg. You're trying to find an opening where you can do damage. Yeah, and that's unfortunately what we're doing is not quite that. Additionally, I guess because mech is very passive, a lot of times you're just free to take additional braces for free, basically. The only sort of harassment that mech can do is gyrocrafts and catadrops, so as long as you have like ballista airship just preparing for that and defending against that, you should be fine. But yeah. So ideally we don't want to let this get up, but if it does get up, we want to be attacking somewhere else so that he's taking some damage in exchange for taking this. So I'm not quite sure what this worker is doing. I think that's probably just a mistake. But I like that these dragons are over here. Generally, you want to target down workers if possible. And then with your other army, I'd be on this side of the map, just trying to attack over here. I like that we're trying to keep an eye on this base, but I would have liked to see that a little bit earlier. Now that the ballista are here, I would do the opposite. So I take my dragons, go all the way around, and try to harass this mineral line. Just be where the ballista aren't. We're moving in right now, but this is a little bit too late. We are getting archer range, but honestly, that's not that good, in my opinion. Against mech, just doesn't really add that much. We see the ballista we should get out of there, and we do get out of there. Unfortunately, our dragons are trapped, so that is not good. We're gonna lose quite a few, unfortunate. Okay, so now we're coming into here. Okay, that is a huge shot. We want to be spreading before we go in. So instead of going in like a clump, and these units are going over here, we want to be spreading our units. And ideally, we don't want to be attacking into their army. So once we see that they have this army here, just get out. We're going to attack somewhere else. Yes, there are a whole bunch of caltrops here, but if we had went around, that would have been a very nice way to do some damage and get out easily. Yeah, so this is a very unfortunate fight, especially if we're going into catapults, especially if we're fighting into watchtowers. Not very good. Yeah. So I'd expect this army to get completely blasted. Yeah, and then we're just gonna back off. And the dragons die at the same time, unfortunately. So now we have 2 dragons left, which is not good, and I guess we have more than that, but yeah, this is not the best situation. It happens though, it's okay. It definitely is something that we have to learn. It takes a while to learn how to play against mech for sure. So with this, I would still be trying to be a little bit active, trying to find a different angle. I like that we're going over here to try to find this angle, but might not be the best. Yeah, we do find this, we're going to fight into it. I think this definitely we can fight into until these catapults get there at least. But yeah, you want to be separating your army, doing some sort of multi-pronged attack, and you want to be teching as well. These additional racks, I think that's very good against like racks versus racks or against beast, but against mech, you want to be going into some sort of tech, and ideally, initially, in my opinion. Like mages would be good, I think. Or advanced workshop, like I said, just to do some sort of drops, multi-pronged harassment. The reason why mages are good, you can also do a little bit of harassment against them. You can clear out these caltrops with fireballs, and you can just do a whole bunch of damage to the catapults and stuff as well. You can kind of like outrange them in a way as well with the fireballs. Yeah. So I guess this once they do start moving out, let's say they don't go for this base, and they start moving out with a big army in the middle of the map. Ideally, you want to see it as soon as possible, and then when that happens, you want to set up a big surround, like 360 surround. Have an army coming from the back, have an army coming from the sides and the front. You want to absolutely surround it. Smart mech players will try to go around, and they'll like try to take the long way just so that they don't get surrounded, but you need to keep tabs on the army where it is, and you need to try to surround it as much as possible. That is the absolute key for dealing with a big mech army. Ideally, you have like even an airship to drop soldiers on top of it, drop wolves on top of it. You want to get a huge surround, and if possible, you want to target down all the workers down first, but that's difficult to do. But as long as you have a big surround, that should be fine. Yeah. I do like that you tried to counterattack once you saw them try to go for this base, but at this point, they have more bases than you, which is should not happen, and you can see your archers just getting completely melted by the catapult shots, so not ideal, and I think you say GG here. Yeah. So, against mech, yeah, I think hopefully this was pretty instructive. Additionally, you want to, okay, so I guess some general tools, general tips. Scout the initial building. Most of the time it's going to be advanced workshop or mill, so you can just go for advanced. If you don't scout it, just go for advanced workshop of yourself. Advanced workshop, definitely against mech. It's the best building to get, in my opinion. Ballista shuts down gyros and airship drops, and also Ballista also shuts down gyrocraft. So, oh wait, no, airship. I already said that. And also, airship gives you mobility that you can abuse the immobility of mech, the slowness of mech. You want to delay the third base as much as possible. Unlikely to happen, though. They're probably going to be able to take it relatively quickly, relatively easily. But the fourth base, for sure, you want to get rid of it as much as possible. Or at least see it go down and then attack in different places. This is like, once they start taking the fourth base, that's when you can actually really start to do some multi-pronged harassment, find ways to sneak in airships, find ways to, try to find some openings where they under-defend on one spot, that sort of thing. And then if they instead, or if they later go for some sort of big mech push, you want to get a huge surround and, 360 surround and take it out from like that. You want to stay generally one base up, if possible, maybe even more. Excuse me. And yeah, hopefully this was a little bit instructive. Hopefully this sort of thing will help you later on if you do play against mech. So if you play against Zelos in next week, for example. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.